Hello guys, and welcome back to the Volvo Guy channel. So today I decided to do a new video on some of the common problems that I have seen in the past working on Volvos for the 14 years plus. Mainly it's going to be on the P3 platform Volvos and XC90s, which is the P2 platform. As far as the engine that we're going to be talking about, it's only the SI6, T6, and T5. We're not gonna get too much into the new four-cylinder engines. Thinking possibly I could do another video on some of the common problems on the SPA platform and include the new four-cylinder engines, the turbocharged and the twin-charged, supercharged, and turbocharged engine. The P3 platforms is going to include all the vehicles listed here: the S80, V70, XC70, XC60, S60, and V60. And model years you can see here on the screen. I kind of did a screenshot just so you could see references on what model years that we're talking about here. So without further ado, let's start. I have a list of probably 10, and some of them are not too bad, some of them are just annoying, and some of them are major. So this list is going to go through them. There's no really in particular order. I just start writing them down and I'm just going to go through them here for you. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider to do so, and also smash the thumbs up. It helps the channel tremendously, and thank you. So we're going to start with some of these problems. I'm going to start with number one. It was the Volvo Emblem. For some reason on the front grille, some of the glue would actually come apart, and we've noticed a lot where Volvo is missing the emblem. You see this, the main emblem, but the lettering Volvo is pretty much gone, sometimes half gone. It's just annoying, you know. Just every time you walk out of your car, you just see the emblem is missing. The Volvo came out with a bulletin, and actually they added that to a recall, that they covered it to a higher mileage. I don't have the exact information here on the recall, but if you guys need that information, I can send it to you, email it, or figure out a way to get it to you. The fix for it is just pretty much removing the old sticker and then gluing a new one on. And the same problem also happens on the steering wheel, on the driver's airbag. Same exact issue. Before, we used to replace the entire airbag to fix it, and I believe now they came out with a new sticker to replace that also, just like we do on the front grille. Okay. The second issue we have seen is on some of the vehicles that's equipped with the census screen. The census screen would reboot during driving, sometimes would freeze, and then when this happens, you can't use your radio, you can't see anything, everything just freezes up, and it's just very annoying when it happens. It really doesn't affect the drivability by any means. It's just something that shouldn't happen. This ongoing problem for a long time. Once you update the software, for the most part, it takes care of it. Number three, if every time I heard about this problem I got $1, I would be somewhere else now. The RDAR is the Sirius radio receiver that's in the back of the vehicle. For most people who doesn't use Sirius radio, the control module would go into lockup mode. And when it goes into lockup mode, it keeps draining the battery constantly. It just never stops. It doesn't drain a whole lot for people probably who drives their car every single day. They might not even notice the issue, but you'll start noticing the problem when your vehicle sits for 3-4 days, maybe a week. If you travel a lot, you park your car at the airport, and then you go on for a trip, and then you come back, you might notice a low battery message, or sometimes the vehicle might not start. And to fix it, again, a software. Unplugging the fuse for the RDAR control module, running a software through it, and also there's a bulletin that came out, technical journal, to fix this issue For the most part, you really don't need to replace it. In some cases, we had to replace them because they won't take the software. Another fix for it, since this is used fiber optics, you can actually disconnect the RDR control module and install a loop to let the fiber optic light go through the loop and go back in order for the rest of your audio system to work. In some cases, when the RDR goes bad, it actually takes down your audio system. Everything freezes and it doesn't work. That's one of the symptoms we've seen, other than draining the battery. I've seen almost on a weekly basis, maybe sometimes even daily basis, this issue. Mainly is battery drain. That's when people mostly notice it. I have number 4 here on the list is PCV breather system. And you get check engine light for lean condition. Engine is running lean. When these go bad, sometimes you don't hear a noise. The only thing you notice is a check engine light comes on, and then you would have a lean condition, saying their engine is running lean. And a quick way to test it is just with the engine running, to pull the dipstick out and see how much vacuum that's actually pulling. Sometimes you can hear it. In some cases, you can actually hear a belt-like noise, especially on the 6-cylinder engines. It sounds just like a drive belt. You can't even tell the difference. I had people replace alternators, water pumps, belts, tensioners. It doesn't come from there. It sounds just like it. If you pull the dipstick out, the noise just goes away. And that's a sign that your PCV box is no good. On the 5-cylinder engines, sometimes it makes a loud screeching noise. It's very annoying. It's very loud. The difference between the 5-cylinder and the 6-cylinder engines, the 6-cylinder engine, you have a breather box on top of the valve cover that you can just replace. On the 5-cylinder engines, it's part of the oil filter housing. The entire unit would have to be replaced to take care of that issue. Now, on my number 5 on the list here is the what's called active on-demand coupling, which is the AOC pump for the all-wheel drive system. They go bad. You possibly either had one replaced, or you ran into this issue, or possibly seen it, where just the pump fails and it stops working. And in some cases, the screen gets clogged up on the pump, and it would have to be removed and cleaned and refilled. And I had to do this particular pump on my Volvo that I drive, which is thinking about making a video on that car too. It's an 07 XC70 with 307,000 miles on it, because my pump quit and I didn't have an all-wheel drive system. Number 6 is the leak detection pump for the evap system. They just go bad and they would have to replace them. They have the vent valve as part of the pump, and sometimes the vent valve would go bad. Sometimes the heating element goes bad, and sometimes just the pump itself gets weak and it stops working. That's another common issue I have seen on those. Number 7 is the drive belt and engine damage, and that's only happens on the 5-cylinder engines, engine code 61 and 62, the new 5-cylinder engines, not the old one. What ends up happening, the drive belt tensioner actually fails, and you'll start hearing sometimes a tripping belt noise coming from the tensioner. If you do, I would recommend you getting it fixed like immediately. I wouldn't even drive the car to the shop. I would get it towed there. What ends up happening, the drive belt gets shredded due to the tensioner, and it goes under the crankshaft pulley where the timing belt drives on. And when the belt goes underneath the timing belt, it pretty much throws your timing off. And these engines are interference engines, and they will, the valves will hit the pistons. And when that happens, I mean, your best case scenario is you would have to replace the valves or replace the cylinder head with used one or new, whatever the case may be. But it's not cheap to fix. It's very costly to repair. I have done this repair on so many engines, on the 5-cylinder engines. I've seen it happen so many times. It's crazy. And sometimes I've seen it as low as 60,000 miles. I've seen it as high as 80,000 miles. Those very important to be replaced. If I were to own one of these engines, I probably would be replacing that tensioner every 60 to 70,000 miles, especially if it makes noise. If it makes noise, do not wait. Get it done immediately. That's very important. Otherwise, it's going to be a very costly repair. On to number 8, oil consumption. They had this issue on all of their engines, the new 5-cylinders and the new 6-cylinders, turbo, non-turbo, on all. And it was a combination of breather boxes. Some of the engines had bad breather boxes, combination with bad valve cover seal. The valve cover, when it was sealed from factory, had some issues, and it caused oil consumption. The combination of these two was causing the oil light to come on before the service was due. And in some cases, when this problem started happening, we were able to replace the breather box and reseal the top of the engine on the turbo engines only, because the turbo engines had the good piston rings already installed in them. So mainly it was just a oil breather system and a valve cover reseal. On the non-turbo engines, which is the engine code 90 on the XC90s, and engine code 92, 94, and 96, the non-turbo SI6s. They had different piston rings, and they changed them in 2010 it started. So 09, if you own an 09, probably you don't have any problems with oil consumption. 2010 and up, and mainly 2010, 2011, that's the main 2 years that I have done so many piston replacement on those, more than I care to remember. And I had a video that I put a little while ago on the reason these engines actually burn oil. You can look at the piston ring design. It was completely different. Now, the crazy part, on the 5-cylinder engines, they did not replace the design. So when you get your engine repaired, as far as replacing the piston rings, they don't change the pistons or the design of the rings. The only thing that gets changed is the ring material. So in some cases we've seen them work, we've seen them not work. If you own a Volvo, more likely you've seen at least 1 or 2 of these issues, if not more. Time is a little bit tight. It takes a while for me to do these videos. I don't have much free time, and I apologize. I try to do as much as I can to help you guys out. So with that being said, please smash the like button. That would help the channel tremendously. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. I appreciate you guys' support. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.